Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. This week in the Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday wrote, Marcus Aurelius' life teaches us how to live well. And because he lived well, his story also teaches us how to die well, with grace, with strength, with empathy, and with the comfort of knowing that he lived a good life as a good man. I want to tell you again about my friend Jenny Spencer. Jenny died Monday, April 28th. I've told you about this amazing woman before who lived with a leukemia diagnosis for 4.5 years, double the time the doctors thought she would live. So let me tell you how I think Jenny survived so long and so well. Jenny died still planning her funeral. It's true. She loved planning her funeral from the day she was diagnosed. Planning was one of her gifts. Planning gave her energy and purpose. When I stood by her bed the day before she died, she told me she and her son Adam had another idea for the funeral that I should know. That was Jenny. When Jenny was diagnosed with leukemia, it came as a shock to everyone. She had long struggled with hemiplegic migraines, many other ailments, and depression. But everything changed when she learned she would have 2 years to live. Jenny told everyone she decided that she would live out her life with joy. Everything focused on joy from that day on. And some startling things happened with that decision. Jenny was no longer depressed. She started to become and do all the things she always wanted to. She received all her treatments and care at Mayo Clinic and made it her mission to tell dad jokes every time she went in the elevator. During those 4.5 years, which were filled with treatment, remission, new drugs, etc., Jenny became a confident woman. She wrote and published a book. She wrote poems. She learned to paint, focusing on painting birds. She made quilts, started little community groups, planned 4 retreats at VRBOs for our friends group, and she became a leader. It was in dying that she got a new lease on life. While we visited her in her hospice bed, our daughter Maria said, Jenny, your book of life got better as you went on. That was sure true. One of the things that made her so free to become was the fact that her husband Bill chose to take on the role of being Jenny's caregiver. It was as if he allowed Jenny to live as a queen, and he made sure she had all she needed to get the most out of the life she had left to live. He did it gracefully and so well. Jenny's sister Jackie stayed with her during her final days in the hospital. Jackie wrote me a wonderful note in the wee hours of the morning. She talked about her life with Jenny when they were young girls. Jackie wrote, That was Jenny, sensitive, loving, brave, always faithful, and determined to do what was needed and right. Then Jackie asked me, Can a person be fearless even when fearful? Because I just realized that really describes Jenny throughout her whole life. Hmm. Can we be fearless even when fearful? Sometimes that produces the sweetest times in life. Think about the first time you dove off a diving board, drove a car, took a leap of faith to invest yourself in something you weren't sure you could that would turn out right, and then it did. How about letting your child take a risk? You had to appear fearless, but were probably most fearful inside. But on the other side of that fear is the sweetness that you will never forget. It's knowing you could summon courage. Hmm. So when Jenny learned from the doctors that she had terminal leukemia with probably only 2 years to live, she made a determined choice to live it with joy. That decision said no to fear and yes to peace. The joy she determined to live took the fear out of her fearful nature so she could be fearless in living her remaining years with confidence and great joy. These are fearful times in our country. It's difficult to be fearless. But when you look at a life lived in the face of death as Jenny did, maybe we can follow her lead. Even though we don't think we have a terminal diagnosis, we really do. Not because of what might happen in the days ahead, but because we are humans with a finite amount of time to live on this earth. So why not approach our remaining life as Jenny did and say no to fear and yes to peace? And do it focused on living a life of joy so that someone might say of us, as Ryan Holiday said of Marcus Aurelius, our life taught others how to live well. And because we lived well, our story also taught others how to die well, with grace, with strength, with empathy, and with the comfort of knowing that we lived a good life as a good person. This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, I will focus on living the rest of my life with joy and live it well. Thanks, Jenny. Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.